All right, so this video is going to cover Module 10 Homework 1 Notes, and we're going to talk about systems of linear equations and problem solving. So in this section, we are going to use systems of equations to problem solve. So kind of like putting these two things together, word problems and systems of equations together into one problem. So it says, a particular movie theater charges $9 per adult ticket and $4.50 per child ticket. Suppose 400 people attend the movie and the total revenue from the ticket sales was $2,700. Write two linear equations to represent a system to solve this, where x represents the number of adults attending the movie and y represents the number of children attending the movie. Then solve. All right, so first things first is it automatically gives us the defines the variables for us, whereas it says x represents the number of adults attending the movie and y represents the number of children. So we already know that's x and y. So let's go ahead and make two equations that represent this scenario. So I know total 400 people attended the movie. So I know however many adults plus however many children together would give me 400 people total. That's one equation. Okay, then it says $9 per adult ticket. So $9 times however many adults there are, so that will be x, plus $4.50 per child. So $4.50 times however many of children attend the movie. So that will be y. So total, all the ticket prices will give us $2,700. Boom, here's the hardest part. I wrote down the two equations. That's the hardest part. Now it's just like test 4, solving systems of equations. And notice you can solve it however you want. You can solve by substitution, you can solve by elimination, totally up to you. Let's solve using substitution. So I'm gonna put a little note and say, we are going to solve using substitution, but you can solve by elimination. Also, so whatever floats your boat, whatever one you like better. So I see that this first, solving by substitution, that this first equation, x plus y equals 400. So if I have x plus y equals 400, I could use that to solve for either x or y, doesn't really matter which one. Let's get y by itself. So let's move that x over. So let's subtract x from both sides. That way x minus x cancels out and goes to 0. So we are left over with y equals 400 minus x. Y equals 400 minus x. All right, so now I know that y is the same thing as saying 400 minus x. So let's plug that in over here to our other equation for y. So 9x plus 450 times y. We know y is the same thing as 400 minus x equals 2700. So now I have an equation with just x's, so I can use this to solve for x. Let's go ahead and distribute that 450. So I have 9x plus 450 times 400. So let's put this into our calculator. 450 times 400, and we get 1800. So plus 1800. And then 450 times negative x will give us negative 450x equals 2,700. Getting closer. Let's go ahead and combine some like terms. So if we have 9x minus 4.5x, 9 minus 4.5x, and we get 4.5. So 4.5x plus this 1800 will equal that 2,700. Getting closer, let's get x by itself. Let's move that 1800 to the other side. So I can subtract 1800 from both sides. That way 1800 minus 1800 cancels out and goes to 0. We are left over with 4.5x equals 2,700 minus 1,800, and that will give us 900. Almost done. Getting x by itself, it's 4.5 times x. So let's divide both sides by 4.5 to get x by itself. So we have x equals 900 divided by 4.5, and that will give us 200. So x equals 200. Remember, x represents the number of adults, so that means we have 200 adults attending the movie. 200 adults attending the movie. All right, so that's done. Now that I know how many adults, I can plug that back into either equation to find how many children attended the movie. So let's plug it into this first one because this first one looks a little bit easier. So x plus y equals 400. So we know that x is 200 plus y, we don't know y, we're looking for y, equals 400. Getting y by itself, let's move that 200 over by subtracting 200 from both sides. That way 200 minus 200 goes to 0 and cancels out. We're left over with y equals 400 minus 200, which is 200. So y is the number of children, so that means y equals 200, and that's 200 children. So we know 200 children attended and 200 adults attended the movie. Done. So it's really important to know, in this case, they're both 200, but it's really important to know which one is which. So make sure that you have to label that x is the number of adults and y is the number of children. So, all right, let's go down to the next example. It says a boat travels upstream for 18 miles in 3 hours and returns in 2 hours traveling downstream in the river. What is the rate of the boat in still water and the rate of the current? All right, so we're looking for two things, the rate of the boat in still water and the rate of the current. Those are the two things we're looking for. So let's label this first thing x and the second thing y. So x is going to be the rate of the boat in still water and y is going to be the rate of the current. All right, so then now we know which one is which. So next it says what rate? So we know rate means speed. So that's like miles per hour. Miles per hour. All right, so let's figure this out. So this rate of the boat in still water. So the boat travels upstream for 18 miles in 3 hours. So upstream means the rate of the boat in still water, so x, and the rate of the current going upstream, so x plus y. So upstream is 18 miles in 3 hours. I need to write this as a rate. So 18 miles per hour. So that word per means divide. So divided by 3 hours. So 18 miles in 3 hours. All right, we can simplify this. 18 divided by 3 will give us 6. So that will give us x plus y equals 6. First equation. We'll come back to the miles per hour in a second. So second equation, it says returns traveling downstream in 2 hours. So downstream means still the rate of the boat in still water, but now it's going, we don't have the current, so minus the current going downstream. And this said it took 18 miles still traveled 18 miles, but per hour, this time it only took 2 hours. So 18 miles in 2 hours. So that'll give us our rate. That'll give us our speed. So I can simplify this to x minus y equals 18 divided by 2, which is 9. Boom, here are my two equations. We are set up to solve these two equations. If you notice, it's x plus y equals 6 and x minus y equals 9. So it's set up to use elimination. So let's use elimination to solve. If it doesn't tell you what, so if you like to use substitution better, go use substitution, that's totally fine. But this one's already set up for us to add these two equations together. And that way, 1x plus 1x will give us 2x. Y minus y will eliminate, will go to 0 and cancel out, equals 6 plus 9 will give us 15. All right, so 2x equals 15. So let's getting x by itself, let's divide both sides by 2, That way those cancel. We're left with x equals 15 over 2, which you can leave as a decimal or as a fraction because we usually never put decimals. But with the context of the problem in the homework, it'll let you put in a decimal. So 15 divided by 2, it'll give us 7.5. We usually don't say 15 over 2 miles per hour. We could say 7.5 miles per hour. So remember, that is our rate, and our rate is our speed in miles per hour. So miles per hour. Let's do mph. So x is the rate of the boat in still water. So this will be 7.5 miles per hour. All right, so we already know that one. Now let's find our y value, the rate of the current. So if I plug it into either equation, doesn't matter which one. Let's do this top one. So x plus y equals 6. So x we know is 7.5 plus y, we don't know y, we're looking for y, equals 6. So let's get y by itself. Let's subtract 7.5 from both sides. That way those cancel. We are left with y equals 6 minus 7.5. Oops. And that will give us negative 1.5. Again, y is our rate of the current, so that's going to be our rate. That's going to be in miles per hour. So the rate of the current, even though it's negative with the math, I don't want to say the rate's negative. That just means we're going downstream. So 1.5 miles per hour. And that's that example. All right, so let's go to the next page with 2 more examples. All right, so you are choosing between 2 different cell phone plans. The first plan charges a rate of 18 cents per minute. The second plan charges a monthly fee of $39.50 plus 8 cents per minute. How many minutes would you have to use in a month in order for the second plan to be preferable? All right, so a couple things that were going on here. So we need to define our variables. So the question is, how many minutes would you have to use in a month in order to make the second plan preferable? So if the plan is preferable, that means cheaper, so cost less. Cheaper and cost less. So the 2 things we need to look for when we set our variables, so let's let x equal the number of minutes, because that's what we're looking for, the number of minutes per month. The number of minutes in a month. And then y be the total cost. Those are the 2 things we're looking at. We're looking at the minutes, and then the minutes are going to dictate the cost. All right, so the first plan charges a rate of 18 cents per minute. So 18 cents is the same thing as saying $0.10. We're going to deal with dollars here. So $0.18. I think I said 8.10. $0.18. Okay, so the first plan, which is y, the total cost is going to be 18 cents, so 0.18 times however many minutes that you use. And that's it. The second plan, so the total cost for the second plan, y equals, would be a monthly fee of $39.50. So $39.95. I'm losing it. $39.95 plus 8 cents. So here, 8 cents is going to be the same thing as $0.08. Putting it all in dollars, $0.08 per minute. So times x. Boom, here's our 2 equations. All right, so we are set up to use substitution here because we have y equals. So with this y equals, I could plug it back into this equation. So y equals, y is the same thing as saying 0.18x, so I can plug that into my second equation and use substitution. All right, so y is the same thing as saying 0.18x equals $39.95 plus 0.08x. Okay, so I have an equation now with just x's. So let's work to get x by itself. Let's move this x over here with these other x's. So we're adding 0.08x, so let's subtract it to bring it to the other side. So subtracting 0.08x from both sides. That way those cancel out. And we're left over with 0.18x minus 0.08x, and that will give us 0.10, 0.1. So 0.1x equals 39.95. Getting x by itself, it's 0.1x, so we're going to divide both sides by 0.1 to get x by itself. 39.95 divided by 0.1, and we get x equals 399.5. Remember, x is the number of minutes, so 399.5 minutes. And that's our answer. So let's think about it back in the context of the problem. So in order for these two to be the same, because we equal them to each other, the same price, it would have to be 39.95 minutes. So the question was, how many minutes would you have to use in a month in order for the second plan to be preferable? So this will give us the number of minutes it equals. So it'll tell us in the problem when you fill in the blank, it'll be that many minutes, less than 399 minutes, 399.5 minutes, less than that I'm losing my mind. Let me start over. So this will be the number of minutes to be equal the same. So if I have 399.5 minutes, in order for them to be the same, so anything less than that would make plan 2 to be cheaper. So more of the story, our answer is 399.5 minutes. All right, let's do the last one for this page. It says, when hired at a new job selling jewelry, you are given 2 pay options. Option A says base salary of $17,000 per year with a commission of 12% on your sales. And option 2 is a base salary of $20,000 a year with a commission of 5% on your sales. In order for letter A, option A, to produce a larger income, you would need to sell at least blank amount of jewelry each year. All right, so again, let's define our variables. Let's let X be the amount of money sold. Because that will dictate our commission, our sales. So the amount of money sold. And then Y will be your income. Those are the two options. So it's kind of similar to the previous one right there. So let's write for each option, let's write an equation. So for option A, our total income, so our Y, is going to be a base salary of $17,000. So $17,000 no matter what, plus a commission of 12%. So let's put this in decimal form. Moving our decimal 2 places to the left will give us 0.12. So 0.12 of the amount of your sales. So of the amount of money sold. So of your X. So times X. So that's option A. Option B, your salary. So Y equals base salary of $20,000. So $20,000 plus 5%, moving that decimal 2 places to the left again, 0.05 times your sales, so times X. Boom, hardest part done. Those are our 2 equations. So again, because we have Y equals, let's use substitution. So let's plug 17,000 plus 0.12x is the same thing as saying Y. So let's plug that in for Y and let's use substitution. All right, so Y is the same thing as saying 17,000 plus 0.12x equals 20,000 plus 0.05x. All right, so we have our equation. Let's try to get x by itself. So let's move this 0.05x over to the other side. So minus 0.05x. So those cancel. So we're left with 17,000 plus 0.12x minus 0.05x will give us 0.07x equals 20,000. It's a comma. getting x by itself, let's move that 17,000 to the other side. So let's subtract 17,000 from both sides. That way those cancel. We are left with 0.07x equals 20,000 minus 17,000, and that will give us 3,000. Almost done getting x by itself. Let's divide both sides by 0.07x. Sorry, just 0.07 to get x by itself. So 3,000 divided by 0.07, and that will give us x equals 42,857, and it's talking about money, so rounded 2 decimal places, so 0.14. Remember, x is the amount of money sold, so that's going to be your sales. So that's going to be our answer. So $42,857.14. So you have to sell at least that much money to make option A produce a larger income. 42,857.14. And that's it. So like once you get the equation set up, that I feel like is the hard part. That's the new part. Then it's just like test 4, solving equations. All right, so if we're good, let's go ahead and go to the next page and the last page for this section. All right, so an example says Jolene invests her savings into 2 bank accounts, one paying 4% and the other paying 11% simple interest per year. She puts twice as much money in the lower yielding account because it's less risky. Her annual interest is $5,339. How much did she invest at each rate? So invested at the 4% and invest at the 11%. All right, so we know her annual interest rate, her annual interest total is $5,339. So it's all together. So how much did she invest at each rate? So let's just say let X be the amount of money invested in general. Oops. The amount of money invested. So the amount of money invested. All right, so one is paying 4%. So 4% in decimal form, moving our decimal 2 places to the left, is 0.04. And the other at 11%, so moving a decimal 2 places to the left would be 0.11. She puts twice as much, so twice means 2 times as much. In the lower yielding account, so in the 4%, because it's less risky. So she's going to put, for the 4% account, 2 times as much. So 2 times however much she invested. So 2 times X plus whatever she invested in the 11% account. So 0.11 times X will give us the total interest, which is $5,339. So there's an equation. Now I only have one equation because together will give us the interest of $5,339. So 0.04 times 2x will give us 0.08x plus 0.11x equals 5339. We can combine like terms here. So 0.08x plus 0.11x will give us 0.19x equals 5,339. Let's get x by itself, so let's divide both sides by 0.19. And we're left with x equals 5,339 divided by 0.19. And that will leave us with 28,100. All right, so that's the amount she invested. So how much did she invest in the 4%? So remember, 4% is going to be our 2 times x. So 2 times 28,100. This is a very nice whiteout. It's the little things in life. Ah, I did it again. I just wanted to use this whiteout again because I liked it. Just kidding. All right, so 28,100 So that amount times 2 will give us 56,200. And then she just invested X in the 11%, so 28,100. And that is that problem. Last one for Module 10 Homework 1. How many gallons of pure acid should be added to 176 gallons of 20% acid solution to produce a solution that's 36%? All right, so pure acid means 100%, like 100% pure. So putting this in decimal form, moving our decimal 2 places to the left would give us just 1. And then 20%, moving our decimal 2 places to the right, would give us 0.2 or 0.20 if you want. And 36%, moving a decimal 2 places to the right, would give us 0.36. And then it says how many gallons, so we're looking for how many gallons, so that's going to be our X. How many gallons is going to be our X? Should be added of pure acid, so 100%, so 1X, so if you want to put that 1 out front, go for it. Added, so plus our 20%, so 0.20 times X, to produce, so to give us, to equal 0.36. Here's the thing, should be to produce 176 gallons. Shoot, I messed this up. I got ahead of myself, I'm sorry. Let me go back and explain from the beginning. My bad. All right. How many gallons of pure acetone should be added? So that's, we don't know how many gallons of pure acetone. So pure acetone is 1X. Should be added to 76 gallons, I skipped over that part before, of 20%. So 20% of 176 gallons to produce a solution that's 36%, so 0.36. And then how many gallons are there total? Well, how many gallons of 100%, so X, plus 176 gallons of 20%. That will give us our total. So I don't know how many gallons of 100% pure acetone, so it's just 1X, 1 because it's 100%. If you just want to put X there, that's fine, it's the same thing. And then we know we have 176 gallons of 20%. So together I have how much is here, so that X plus that 176 total. So think about you're putting it into a bucket, right? You don't know how many gallons of 100% acid, but you're going to have 176 gallons of 20%. So total, we want 36%. However many gallons of 100% we put in, plus that 176 that we put in to give us that total amount in that bucket. So now here's our equation. Let's go ahead and solve this. So 1X is just X plus 0.20 times 176, which will give us 35.2, will equal, let's distribute, so 0.36 times X is 0.36X. 0.36 times 176 will give us 63.36. So plus 63.36. Getting closer, let's combine some like terms. So let's move this 0.36x over here with that 1x. So subtracting 0.36x from both sides. That way those cancel. Remember, this is 1x. So if it helps you to put that 1 out front, go for it. So 1x minus 0.36x will give us 0.64x plus 35.2 equals 63.36. Almost done getting x by itself. Let's subtract that 35.2 from both sides. And we got 0.64x equals that 63.36 minus 35.2. And that will give us 28.16. Move my, there we go. 28.16. Last step, getting x by itself, let's divide both sides by 0.64. That way those cancel. We are left over with x equals 28.16 divided by 0.64, and that will give us 44. So that means we need 44 gallons of 100% pure acetone to mix in with the 176 gallons of 20% in our bucket to give us a total of 44 plus 176, so our total would be 220 gallons of 36% acetone. So that is all of Module 10 Homework 1. As always, please let me know if you have any questions. If not, thank you very much for watching.